This is your weekly trip to paradise, Louisiana style, with Gary Risponi and Don Dubuque. Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Rotolo's Pizzeria. Fresh ingredients, friendly service. That's just the way we Rotolo. Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Louisiana Fish Fry Products. And by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.
Welcome to the opening duck season, Paradise, Louisiana. Back at Superior Bait and Tackle, Don and
You got everything? You got your camo, but now do you have your shells, your non-toxic shells? You got your basic license, your HIP, your state stamp, your federal stamp?
Got it all.
Your chest waders, you all sound like you got it together.
I got it all.
Well, let's go.
I
this
didn't
weekend.
have much sleep because I'm so excited.
You don't need to sleep.
But as soon as we get through taping, I'm headed to Mud Rouge.
Good for you.
Wait till you see the reports and the pictures.
I heard about them.
From Mud Rouge, and even down in Kaplan area, the fog messed them up a little bit over there.
Mm-hmm.
The heat and the fog didn't hurt them at all in North Louisiana. And I got to make a fishing trip finally.
Well, lucky you, because the fishing's been off the charts this last week.
I got to put the camera down. I went to Lafitte with, not with Tofield, but there's a boy that was raised by him, Craig DeGrease. Now I'm gonna tell you, when they say degrees, I don't know how he spells the name, it's hard, but he pronounces it degrees, like it's 10 degrees, 14 degrees. It was 8 degrees. The wind was blowing, beautiful day. It kept no gnats, no nothing. We had a great trip. I was with Mark Barker. And the most, I tell you what, I've been around Jerry Lacombe 25, 30 years. Used to fish with him in Venice. This man can fix anything. He's done gone through more injuries than you and I put together. I mean, with knee surgery, hip surgeries, everything else. And like your buddy Carl Bias, they don't never stop.
No, they're bionic. Just keep changing parts out.
He couldn't hardly walk. He was staining. He was fixing little projects. He never stops. He makes you feel guilty if you want to rest. But he's a hell of a fisherman, very good fisherman. And these young captains right now we're doing shows with. I don't know if because the fish biting so well or these captains are that good, but we're going to find out.
I think it's kind of a combination. Also got some news to talk about. Had an unusual visit at the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Commission meeting last week.
I was there. Chris was there.
I'm talking about somebody that rarely ever shows up, the governor.
For everybody
Any
that
governor.
was there, Joe Mack told me he don't ever remember a governor making an appearance at the Wildlife and Fisheries Commission meeting.
Well, we'll let you hear his comments. Also, we'll get to see the winner and the winning depiction of next year's state waterfowl stamp, too. Larry Reynolds is going to present that.
We got that. We got a couple other things, and then we got the fishing report. Got a great fishing report.
Ooh, yeah.
Got some deer pictures coming in. We got fishing. Finally, we got some freshwater reports on Sac-A-Lake. So
all good. Plus the H&H tournament report, all coming up right here. We're at Superior Bait and Tackle in Baton Rouge, and you're watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
Hey, I'm Mitch Rotolo, owner of Rotolo's Pizzeria. Our pizzas are prepared every day using the freshest ingredients. But Rotolo's has so much more to offer than just delicious pizza. We have an array of healthy salads and tasty wraps, a wide choice of pasta like spaghetti and chicken parmesan, zesty buffalo wings, and our selection of savory calzones. And don't forget to try one of our amazing desserts. Come into any of our local restaurants or check out our entire menu online at rotolos.com. That's just the way we Rotolo.
Relationships are everything in life. For me, the most important relationships start with faith, family, and friends. I feel blessed to be married to my high school sweetheart of over 25 years. We were both born and raised in Louisiana, and so were our 4 children. We're proud to call Louisiana our home. That's why giving back is so important to us, whether it's car seats, bicycles, or helping those in need. At Gordon McKern Injury Attorneys, we feel blessed, knowing that we can come to work every day and help our community when they need us the most.
Call 800-653-9968.
Welcome back to Paradise, Louisiana. And Gary, a lot of hot fishing spots last week. Lafitte was one of them.
One of them, you know, we were there with Tofield and they catch this. All of them guys, Scott Poche and all those guys are catching fish. There were 20 or 30 boats where we were in Little Lake. They were also in the Wrigley's, fishing the walls. Mm-hmm. They were all over fishing, and they were catching. What amazed me was fishing right out in the middle of the lake. Nobody's fishing the bank. Maybe that's the reason they ain't catching a whole lot of redfish. But you can catch redfish. You can do that on. In fact, we missed it because the tide wasn't running. We went the day before just to scout and look before we got in the boat with Craig, Captain Craig DeGrees. He's been putting these guys on catfish. They're getting on these points of these canals with tide running. They're using shrimp. They're using cut bait, whatever. They've been catching catfish up to 40 pounds. So I tried to get a little bit of that on camera. We just didn't have no luck. The tide wasn't running. We caught a few trout the day before. We got to fish and scout. But the invitation came from Mark Barker. Mark had camps down in Venice for years and all over, False River, wherever he has them. The name of his camp now is the New False River Camp. It's right there in the feet off one of them kind of beautiful, beautiful camp. You mean it? All his neighbors got them brown camps. It's laid out so good, it's unbelievable. The way it is, the way them people have it. And there's a lot of camps down there. You don't realize how many people, where I am in Slidell, you know, these camps, some of these camps been there old, but now they got these mansions coming up. And just a beautiful place to be. But the bottom line is why he likes it more than Venice. It ain't because, just because of the fish. It's closer. Mm-hmm. It's closer. A lot of people right now want to go to the camp. It's an hour and a half from Baton Rouge or 2 hours from Baton Rouge, real close to New Orleans. It's just a good place to be and be on the water. So seeing this, let's go see this young guide. And I'm telling you, one of the better young guides in there, Captain Craig DeGrees.
We're going to be fishing on the south side of Little Lake, Brussels, Bay Lewis area, throwing like a green beetle. I need a caulk. So also catching some lemonhead matrix, catching some them just straight retrieve, catching some beautiful trout. I heard they got a black cloud I'm gonna have in the boat today, so we're gonna bring a little sunshine so we can get rid of the rain, get rid of that cloud, and make it shine through. All right, what we're gonna do this morning, fishing with like a green sparkle beetle underneath a caulk, approximately about 2 foot. I've been popping and fishing by these cuts. There's not much water movement this morning. So I'm trying to get right where this little bayou is to catch any little movement possible. I start fishing around these rocks. It's been pretty productive.
Get him, oh yeah, that's it. They're getting fatter. That's the thumper.
That's a thumper. That's
About a fish.
Yeah, a little bit. That'll keep it.
There we go.
Push
Still on that green sparkle beetle.
You'll make the ride, huh, Captain?
We're in Brussels Lake. A lot of times in the wintertime, all that bait and all starts piling up. There's a lot of grass in here, and all of them trout move in, and they'll stay in here until around February, March, until it warms up again in the beginning of the year, and they'll start moving back out. A lot of times when your northwest wind and all hits, usually like not really the day of, but like the next day we try and fish. And a lot of the times you'll fish on the north side of Little Lake. You know, all you try and fish your leeward sides. Shorelines, try and find clean water, somewhat of a decent. It's not always very clean, but at least you get, you can see about a foot or so. After that, then the water's clarity will start cleaning up. Like primarily front hits, we try and stay in the Wrigley's, around from Grandma Bayou all the way going down towards the Harvey Cut. We try and fish all along that north side, northwest side, and as the wind revolves, as the front's passing, try and work that shoreline on down.
Well, Gary, I fished Venice, I fished Grand Isle, I fished all over. Now that I'm retired on Medicare, I love Lafitte for an older guy. Number one, it's 2 hours from Baton Rouge. Number two, it's so family friendly. There's museums and there's restaurants. You're close to Marrero, you're close to Lowe's, Home Depot. Number three, the fall and the winter fishing are just outstanding. The trout move all the way into Brussels Lake, 10 minutes from my camp. Easy run, easy fish, redfish year round. In the spring and the summer, it's a short run to Grand Isle, to the passes. And I guess best of all, I get to use local guides. They're very affordable. Come right to my camp, pick us up at the pier, take us out. These local guides know where the fish are. They come back, we have a great day, they clean the fish, and they can't beat it. So that's what I like about Lafitte.
Here we are in the middle of the day. Wind picked up a lot, tremendously. We're still underneath the caulk, same beetle, still catching fish. And Jerry over here still fishing on the bottom.
Captain Craig. The fishing gets better. We're back out here middle of the day. That's 3 different kind of grasses right here. You're pulling up.
In here.
And every time we find a grass, we got bigger fish.
Yep. Fish is hiding in that grass this time of year.
You know the name of this? I know this looks like a coontail. You got another one, stringy grass, that looks, I don't know
like
what it is. Yeah, and then you got, what you call this? Don't know, huh?
Nah, it's like a wildleaf grass.
Huh?
Yeah, it's like a wildleaf grass that grows from the bottom. You'll get it growing up 5 foot of water. You'll see it on the surface. Long grass.
Well,
fish is buried up in there.
And the boats are here too.
Oh yes.
And I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boats right here. 11 boats. So this is where they're at. Brussels Lake.
That's it. Good job.
There it is. Pretty fish. They still catching big ones. I'm still catching little ones.
All right, Mr. Gary. A promise is a promise. We left the dock this morning. Sun came out, we caught us a bunch of fish. Where'd the black cloud come from?
Well, it's a long story, but I'm gonna try to make it short. There's been a lot of times when bad weather, bad wind, and whatever, we didn't always come back with a lot of fish.
Yeah.
A lot of times we didn't make it back in. We had to get towed in. So you did beat the black cloud for fishing, but did you notice how rough it was coming back in?
It got very
The
windy.
wind picked up, it's blowing with us now.
Yep.
So we're gonna cut it short one more time. Tell us how people want to come to the feet, come fish with you. You're a very good captain, you're very knowledgeable. Young guy too. So you got a lot of energy. Tell people how they get in touch with you.
Sure. They can call me at 504-416-3250. Follow us on Facebook, Craig's Inland Charters. Email me at craigscharters@yahoo.com. Or you can check out our website at Craig's Inland Charters. Anything you need, look forward to seeing you.
I want to thank Boy Barker. He's on the thing right now. His beautiful camp. Jerry Lacombe for all that cooking, for all the everything going on there. Them big, beautiful crabs we got right there.
Getting ready to
hang
enjoy.
around?
Oh yeah, I'm
around?
gonna stay and eat.
You gonna clean them fish?
That's right.
Pod's moving in storage.
I need to clean out my study.
We'll deliver a container.
My brother-in-law's moving in.
Maybe he'll help you pack.
He's lazy.
We can refer some professionals.
It's just until he finds work.
We can keep things at our storage center for as long as it takes.
I am not happy about this.
Or you can keep your things on site for quick unloading.
Did you say freeloading?
I said unloading.
I heard freeloading.
I'm sure you did.
Store on site or let us drive your things to our secure storage center. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
watching Paradise, Louisiana.
Ask me about my Tempur-Pedic.
Ask me how fast I fall asleep.
Why not talk to someone who's sleeping on the most highly recommended bed in America?
Ask me about staying asleep.
Tempur-Pedic owners are more satisfied than owners of any traditional mattress brand.
Ask me how it feels after 10 years.
Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America.
Ask about Tempur-Pedic at Olin's, where you know you always get the guaranteed low price. Olin's is the only store in Baton Rouge and Lafayette with the full line of Tempur-Pedics.
And Jack, I want to thank you for the great job that you're doing as secretary. I want to congratulate Sammy Martin, the new head of enforcement for wildlife and fisheries, and know you're going to continue to do a great job. I just wanted to come this morning. I literally have been talking to Jack for many months about coming over to attend the meeting, just to thank you all in person for what you do. I know that it is tough these days to be a public servant, and people in Louisiana are passionate about a lot of things, but being the sportsman's paradise is probably top of the list about what we're passionate about. And so it's hard to be a public servant, but trying to strike the right balance between competing interests is what public service is all about. And it's very, very difficult. And I know that, and especially as it relates to the work that you all do at Wildlife and Fisheries. But it is such an important part of who we are as a state. It's the way of life. It is a huge part of our economy. And if you think about it, if we're the sportsman's paradise, everybody engaged in the wildlife and fisheries business, they're ambassadors for the state of Louisiana. And trying to get it right is just critically important for all of those reasons. And we have an awful lot of people in Louisiana who make their living through wildlife and fisheries, but also an awful lot of people who their passion is in recreation around wildlife and fisheries. And so getting all of that right, it takes an awful lot of time. So I just wanted to thank you all for the work that you're doing. And look, it's difficult because when you have to strike the balance between competing interests, not everybody's going to agree all the time. And that's just the way it is. But that doesn't mean that you stop talking or you stop working together. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you all is that obviously Jack and I believe that as it relates to red snapper, that the state of Louisiana is in the best position to manage that. There's got to be some transition to get us into that position, but we believe that the work we've done here in Louisiana ought to inspire confidence both in the state and outside the state that we're capable of doing that. In the meantime, because we believe that the fishery is healthy, that we would like to maximize the number of fish that can be caught and the number of days that people will have to catch the fish. Obviously, the specific proposal that you all had, you disagreed with that. That's okay with me. But we just got to keep working, because I know when I talk to recreational fishermen all the time, they can't understand why we're catching so few fish on so few days, given how many of them that there are in our waters. So we just have to keep working, and we just have to keep talking and figuring our way through this. And I know that that's what's going to happen. So I wanted to come over today and just make a personal appearance to tell you how much I appreciate the work that you all do, and to acknowledge that we're not always going to agree. But if we always agreed on everything, this world would be a boring place. It really would. But on the big things, we do have to get it right, and we will. We're going to keep working together. And finally, I'm just going to ask you all, if you've ever got questions or concerns or want to reach out directly to me, don't hesitate to do that. And I look forward to continuing to work with you all. And I'm going to see if I can't scoot over now and, well, I can't give it away, but my son's about to get a lifetime hunting and fishing license because he turns 16 2 days after Christmas, and I figured that'd be a good stocking stuffer. I hope he doesn't read the minutes to this meeting, otherwise he's going to know what he's getting for Christmas. But just thank you for what you're doing, and really I want to thank all of the wildlife and fisheries officers. You know, putting on a uniform and enforcing the law is dangerous. And it's dangerous for everybody, whether they're a traditional law enforcement, state police officer, sheriff's deputy, or city policeman. And too many of the people that they interact with on a daily basis have a weapon. When wildlife and fisheries officers go out, they're pretty much sure that, especially as it relates to hunting, that that's going to happen. And we've seen instances here too often lately where wildlife and fisheries agents are being injured and critically injured in the line of duty. So it just goes to show you what sacrifices they make, and we all always honor their families as well, because those spouses and those children, those parents, they often have to sacrifice because the hunting season doesn't stop when there's a holiday. It doesn't stop when there's a birthday or a graduation. And so our wildlife and fisheries agents, whether they're enforcement agents or biologists, it doesn't matter. They really do sacrifice a lot to do what they do for the state of Louisiana. And I know that you all know it. I just wanted the folks at Wildlife and Fisheries to know that their governor knows it as well. And I appreciate you all more than you can imagine. So God bless. Call on me anytime that I can be of assistance. Thank you.
And that was a rare visit to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Commission by one of our governors, John Bell Edwards. And it's not a trend that has been going on as far as a lot of people can remember. In all the years I covered wildlife and fisheries, cannot remember a standing governor coming in there and addressing the commission, and really in doing that, addressing the sportsmen of Louisiana. And I think it showed some concern on his part. He also expressed the opinion that he thought his department was doing the right thing in trying to get the extra red snapper for the fall season. But I think they really didn't get the whole picture of, until it was brought up to them by a lot of conservation groups, that if they did that, it could jeopardize our next year's season on red snapper. And he vowed to continue to work towards, making everybody happy and pleasing all the user groups. So I think it was a good visit, and certainly you can't go wrong in showing people that you do have an interest in your outdoor resources.
That's the thing. He showed interest. And what's to know that he's concerned, he's listening, and he said, my ideas might not always be right, but he's going to keep the door open, and that's more important. And anything you can keep the door open from different parties, different user groups, and let's listen what we're saying. We're going to start pulling people together. Now, if he has that much luck when he gets back to the legislature, I don't know. Let's pray for him and thank him.
You might remember way back during the election, we interviewed all of the governor's candidates, and he impressed us on his knowledge. He was up on the issues. He was prepared.
That's it.
All right, we got some other news too, wildlife and fisheries.
Yeah, the wildlife and fisheries right now, South Bosco ATB and the UTU, I don't know what that is, but the trail open at Russell Sage Wildlife Management Area. So if you use those places, you can, the ATB trails are open. Also, the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries sent out a newsletter. The construction is completed on a floating dock at Grand Lake. I don't say boat launch at Spring Bayou. So
that's good news.
That's what we got. And
now, some other news that took place at the Wildlife and Fisheries Commission meeting was the announcement of the winner of the 2018-2019 duck stamp competition. Larry Reynolds made that presentation, and we're going to let you hear from Larry.
Well, we've just completed the 2018 Louisiana Waterfowl Conservation Stamp Contest. It's an annual event here at Wildlife and Fisheries where artists enter their best work to compete for the Louisiana State Duck Stamp. Canvasback was the focal species. We got entries from Louisiana. 8 of the 15 were from Louisiana. And then we had entries from New Jersey, Maryland, Texas, Georgia, Florida, and Pennsylvania. Well, the winning painting has a pair of canvasbacks flying in a cloud-filled sky. The detail is amazing. This particular painting was the highest scoring painting in both the first and the second round. It's going to make a great stamp because of the contrast between the bird and the background. It was just beautiful work.
And I think it's refreshing to hear from someone in government where your money is going and how it's being spent. Plus, it's a beautiful depiction of the canvasback bear, too.
Tim Taylor.
Tim Taylor, congratulations. All right, here's Larry Reynolds' comments about that competition and also where your state duck stamp money is being spent.
So in 1988, the legislature passed the Louisiana Waterfowl Conservation Stamp Program for the sole purpose of raising money for wetland protection, restoration, and enhancement for waterfowl and other wetland wildlife of value to the citizens of the state of Louisiana. And since that time, nearly $13 million has been raised. Nearly half has been used for acquisition of wetland habitat. More recently, it's used to maintain pumps, levees, water control structures, and do habitat management on our WMAs. The waterfowl section has a private lands program. We do wetland habitat development on private lands through the Louisiana Waterfowl Project, which is a cooperative endeavor with Ducks Unlimited, NRCS, and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It supports our human dimensions research. We use Duck Stamp as the 25% match for the federal aid project that supports our large-scale hunter opinion surveys that we use to guide some of our habitat management on our WMAs. And the single most important thing is that we leverage this money. Every single dollar of Duck Stamp money that we spend is leveraged through federal aid, through NACA, or through other federal grant sources so that we can get larger amounts of money, like the NACA grant that did the project at Wham Break, so we can do these larger scale habitat projects on our WMAs and provide additional hunting opportunities.
Stay tuned for more Paradise, Louisiana. Voted Best of Louisiana Outdoors 3 years in a row.
Hey y'all, it's Sam Barbera. I'm with the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Foundation. The foundation is a nonprofit that raises funds and provides support for the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries Department. We assist with numerous projects like black bear, whooping crane, bald eagle, as well as family, youth, and women's workshops. For all of the information on the foundation, visit lawff.org. We need your support to help our wildlife and fisheries. Visit lawff.org.
In Paradise, Louisiana.
Delta Waterfowl, Baton Rouge Chapter, Banquet, 2017, sponsored by ISC, which is family. But let me tell you what, you know why I go places I like to eat? City Pork is the cooking, the new chef, the head chef, whatever you want to call him, executive chef. How you doing, brother? Corporate chef, I think that's what they call him. Mike Brewer. Good, man. I was asking about cooking wild game. This is wild boar sauce pecan. One of the best I ever eaten. I'm not telling no lie. mustard greens. Why you go to a banquet to get mustard greens cooked like the country? Biscuit, pork, baked potato, mother potatoes. This is country. This is Delta waterfowl.
Welcome to the H&H Tournament Report. And Gary, we just watched some of the activities at the Louisiana Delta Waterfowl Banquet.
Yeah, all these banquets are coming up right now, and I have to make a statement today. I didn't get any calls yet, but I was there. It was a large crowd. It was a different location. Celtic is a big studio. It was one of their big studio buildings. They had a lot of people there. And I was going to give a shout out to all the sponsors there. There's a lot of sponsors there. My brother and them are the naming sponsors, ISC. Don, we got a lot of things coming up right now in the tournament report. In fact, we got some results. Finally got some results in. The Highway 23 Trout Challenge, Bayou Coast, kayak people, they sent it in. The first place was Tyler Drude. He had 17.7 pounds. Lance Burgos had second at 17.37. He also had big fish at 4.57. Third was our friend Steve Lessard. He had 14.96. Fifth was Michael Etheridge with 11.82. Fifth was my boy I coach ball, Eric Stacy had 10.83. So good turnout. We saw they were a little bit late, but they did get it to us.
They had some pretty adverse weather conditions they were dealing with. If you recall, it was a very breezy weekend. They've also got another event coming up. In fact, it's their second largest tournament for the Bayou Coast Kayak Fishing Club, and it's coming up this Saturday, the 12th annual Fall and Tide Kayak Fishing Rodeo. You can fish all down Highway 23 just like the last one. Weigh-in is going to be at Cypress Cove Marina. If you want to get more details, maybe get a late entry in if you have time, go to bckfc.org.
It's open to the public. That's what I hear. And also the turkey trout throwdown, that's a 5 trout limit. Now it's a little bit different. Lafayette Kayak Fishing Club, it'll be out of November 19th out of the Sycamore Point State Park. So again, remember, 5 trout stringer.
All right, also the Salty Boot tournament coming up at Sycamore Point. This is not a paid official tournament. There's no entry fee. You fish absolutely free. It's put on by the Lafayette Kayak Fishing Club. That's LKFC, and you can check them out on the website and get more details on that one.
Now, this is stuff in the future right now. We're getting calls in from Toledo Bend. Big tournaments are coming. Bass Masters is headed to Toledo Bend on January 25th and 27th. The Carhart College Series coming here. We get to watch it. I love it. It's a big deal. We had national winners from here in Louisiana. It's the Bass Pro Central Tour event. Remember, it's January 25th to the 27th. January 28th, the Bassmasters High School, presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, have their high school tournaments over there. So that's the same weekend that's going to be there. March 7th and 9th, Academy Sports and Outdoors Bass Nation, presented by Magella Outdoors. So these are tournaments are always coming up in the next 3 months, first of the year, 2018. And if you want to get a tournament, an announcement on the show, give me 3 weeks in advance, send your flyer, send your dates, send everything about it to Gary at ParadiseLouisiana.com. Don't forget, make sure that we can add 2 or 3 times before your event comes up. Hope it helps your attendance. And when it's over, send me the results and a few photos.
And we'll be back with the hunting report and the Berkeley Abu Garcia fishing report on Paradise, Louisiana.
Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change has been keeping cars and trucks in Baton Rouge clean and running smooth for over 50 years. At Benny's, we feature professional car washing, complete detailing, high-tech waxing and buffing, interior cleaning, and tire shine. Benny's, one stop for car maintenance with complete oil and lube services and even state inspections at our express locations. Visit one of our 5 convenient locations, including our newest store on Greenwell Springs Road. And don't forget to stop by Be Quick Convenience Store and Fuel Stop. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Drive in dirty, drive out clean.
You are watching Paradise, Louisiana.
The best part about being a member of a Touchstone Energy cooperative is that it's your Touchstone Energy cooperative. That's the power of your co-op membership.
Demco, your Touchstone Energy cooperative.
Welcome to our hunting report. Gary, looking back at last weekend, youth duck hunting opened up in the coastal and west zones. It'll be opening up on the east. I did not get a lot of good reports on the youth hunt. I'm sure there was some in some areas, and there was some pretty good goose hunting. And I know you got one you're going to let loose here in a minute. But for the most part, I think most people were disappointed. Some people said the birds left their area, they were here, and other ones saying the habitat's compromised and they weren't seeing a lot of ducks. But we do have a front coming this week, and things could change in a hurry.
That's the key, Don. Goose Gods Incorporated, nobody hunts them harder than Clint Matthews
You're right
and his
about
group.
that.
He had a whole group of people, and you see it right there on the picture. He had named some of those people that were with him. They did. But the fog in his area, it was hot, 80 degrees, and the worst part, because they hunt with a lot of rags and a lot of decoys, was no wind, was no activity. There were a lot of birds in the air, couldn't get them to decoy. The ones they got, they made good shots, so they come out, and you see some pictures there from Clint, Goose Gods Incorporated. By the way, these guys are booking up fast, but they've been sending me pictures, and I just knew I was going to get the same kind of report. Say, Mr. Gary was a little too hot over here at Top Gun. I'm talking about in Mer Rouge and all those guys up there in that area. But there's so many geese in the area, it didn't make any difference. They didn't have no duck season, but there's so many ducks there, they're so excited. Now, their season in the East Zone will open up to the 18th. Now, the youth season is going to be open up this week. He's all excited for his kids. But his kids now, he calling them a guide. Now, I'm talking about Kobe Daniels at Daniels Farms up there. Top Gun, Darryl Jans hunts up there, you know. He's sending me pictures. Everybody's sending me pictures from that area right now. They sent us video. We showed y'all last week. They sent some more video. It's tremendous. We're going to find out whether I'm the black cloud or not. That front night, I'm going, this is Monday. I'm going to hunt Tuesday. The front's supposed to come in Wednesday. So he told me they might move, but there's so many geese. He almost guaranteed that Lynn and I are going to limit out early and get to see all the sites.
Good luck to you. We haven't got any other reports from other areas, except I did talk to Ryan Lambert down there in Buras, and he was pretty much dejected. He's not happy about what he's seeing.
I heard
he knows that compromised submerged aquatic vegetation is going to hurt him.
I'm hearing over in the southwest, they're seeing a lot of birds, a lot of ducks, a lot of pintail. They're seeing a lot of teal. They're also seeing some green wing teal coming in. You know, usually blue wing, green wing comes a little bit later. That's what they tell me anyway. But so all them hunting camps over in that area, they're getting ready. I'm gonna be in Delacroix. That's one of the areas the vegetation wouldn't affect it, but we'll find out. I'll be hunting with Mike Benji and his friends from Alabama. So we'll find out about that next week. I also gonna bring you how the goose season goes. But I got my buddy Brian Briggs. He got all these places right now. He's putting out blinds and everything, but they got to make a trip to North Dakota. Stoney, the Stone Perry Outfitters, he was bragging on this place. They got deer hunting, duck hunting. The mallards right now are there. Him and Pat Morrow and David McCann and Jack Hardy made a trip over there. You see some of these pictures, mallards. These are pothole hunting now. You know, you hear all about the prairie potholes. They were hunting in the prairie potholes. He said, you should have seen some of the deer and stuff they saw there, and pheasant, which you like. They're telling me to call this guy. Maybe next year, Gary Rasponi might have a Cajun invasion. Maybe I get to go with you on a Cajun invasion. I don't believe I'll ever make it.
No chance. No chance.
Well, you come with me then. How about that?
We might be able to work that out. We'll see.
Yeah.
But good hunting up there. I know those guys had a really good trip up there. And of course, now if you're not going to be able to be hunting this Saturday on opening day, and I'm going to be on the radio. We are going to be Duck Central. We're going to be getting reports from all over Louisiana, so tune us in on the radio network.
You might even hear me call in there. Mike Bench, one of them. But look, the deer hunting, I got a Claire Trussell, first deer in the Washington, Louisiana, St. Landry Parish. She made a 40-yard shot. Congratulations, it's your first deer. My good old buddy, Kenny Haynes from Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, hunting in Atlanta, got him a 9-point. Also, he went back and got him a doe for the freezer. So that's my deer hunting.
Deer hunters have been busy in a lot of areas. The ruts are starting to kick in. Still got a ways on most of the South Louisiana areas, but getting some good reports on deer hunting. Other than the fact that it's been so warm, a lot of people out of bow hunting really can't stay out there in the stands under those conditions. But we'll get better hunting for the deer hunters coming up soon. All right, when we come back after this, it'll be time for our Berkeley Abu Garcia fishing report right here on Paradise, Louisiana.
Pause moving and storage.
We just sold our house.
Congratulations.
We have 2 weeks to move.
We'll deliver a few containers.
Our new home's not ready.
No problem. You can store things with us while you're between homes.
We might need help.
We'll refer trusted packers.
We'll be staying at my brother's.
Well, that sounds...
He has kids of his own.
Well...
5 of them.
Ma'am?
Help.
Trust us for local and long-distance moving and store at our storage centers. Pods, moving and storage, solved.
Aggressive, modern, and durable. The latest advancement in spinning has the Revo name on it, and almost a century of fishing expertise in it. No matter where your passion takes you, world-class fishing is only a Revo away.
Many big ones, so we're gonna go ahead and net this one. Oh yeah, get that beauty. That's the only problem with jerk baits and nets. They get all tangled in the net. Look at this beauty. And that's the size fish. This is what you're looking for this time of year. Woo. Just working that jerk bait pretty deep. Right off this grass line, because it's some beautiful trout. So we get a couple more. Right now we're using the pink lemonade matrix minnow. Got it kind of hemmed up in the net here. That's it right there. Okay, when fishing this time of year, we're right into that October, right in the mist of that fall run, right before it gets too cold. You want to focus on grassy shorelines. And one of the most effective baits to use is suspended jerk baits. We make a matrix minnow here at matrixshed.com. This one works best whenever you fish it 2 to 5 foot under the water. That's where it runs, and it's perfect for coming off of these grassy shorelines. There's a lot of great jerk baits out there. Miradon, Rapala makes a lot of them. Yazuri makes a lot of them. So whatever your personal preference is fine. But make sure this time of year you do not leave home without some jerk baits in your arsenal. See if we can get a few more. All right, guys, we're gonna get this little trout back in the water. It's got matrix shad tag number 25 in it. Recapture this fish. Win a great prize from matrixshed.com. Just let him swim away right here. And there he goes. Down to the deeps. Recapture that fish, win a prize from matrixshed.com. There we go. So we moved spots from a residential style neighborhood that had some good grass shorelines. Now we're on a marshy bank that I know that holds grass this time of year, and that's the name of it, suspended baits and grass. Well, we can't stress how important finding good grass mats are. It's It's not the same type of grass that we find or look for when we're doing the red fishing. That's more, we call that snot grass. It's like a floating grass. When we're doing the trout fishing, it's the grass that grows from the bottom. It's kind of stringy. You call it coontail or hydrilla, whatever it's really called. But the baits kind of rip right through it and the grass doesn't really attach to the lure. And finding these grass beds, you know, good polarized sunglasses. These are white cap matrix shades right here. These work great, and I can see these grass mats and these grassy shorelines, and I know where to cast the lure right on the edge of the grass. And when you're working these suspended baits like this, you want to twitch, pause with the rod tip. And the key is to do some pauses in the middle there while you're twitching it with your rod tip down. And this time of year, really, these suspended baits really do a great job of triggering strikes. The water's typically really clear, the fish can get suspended, and they're just looking to ambush any kind of bait that's coming out of that grass. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dockside TV, as this is our first time this year, this fall season, of running into the trout pretty thick. We had a lot of action today, caught trout one after the other in multiple locations, pretty much everywhere we tried. And as we said before, find the grass and you're going to find the speckled trout.
Hey, I'm Mitch Rotolo, owner of Rotolo's Pizzeria. Our pizzas are prepared every day using the freshest ingredients. But Rotolo's has so much more to offer than just delicious pizza. We have an array of healthy salads and tasty wraps, a wide choice of pasta like spaghetti and chicken parmesan, zesty buffalo wings, and our selection of savory calzones. And don't forget to try one of our amazing desserts. Come into any of our local restaurants or check out our entire menu online at rotolos.com. That's just the way we Rotolo.
Welcome to the Berkeley Abu Garcia Fishing Report. Got to start off with saltwater. Saltwater was like hot as a firecracker last week. Hopefully this front is not going to mess it up for the guys this weekend. But I had reports described from Robbie Campo at Shell Beach as phenomenal was the word that he used. They were catching fish 2 minutes from the landing, a lot of speckled trout, kind of similar reports from Tofield. You were down there in Lafitte, a lot of trout being caught there. Both people there, and also Kirk Stansel out in Calcasieu, said for some reason the redfish were kind of slacking off. I don't think the redfish are slacking off. I think what it is, people are finding trout and they're staying on the trout and they're not going to the shorelines in the marshes.
That's the same way I say over there, sure. but you can't get away from them in Leeville. The redfish everywhere, and people are limbing out in a few minutes, and now they're looking for birds in them canals in Leeville and Golden Meadow. Catfish Lake, everywhere normal places you catch fish in November, you shouldn't strike out. You might have to ride to find clear water. You see a few birds diving, you know, they're gonna be smaller trout. You stay around there, hang around there, fish on the bottom. And the top baits have been some of the old time baits. H&H, Cockle Minnow, H&H Sparkle Beetle, where we were fishing. And that's the same thing on the feet. They were going into the lakes when they get rough. They were still getting on the lee side in them lakes, and they fished out in the middle. But the key is, and the feet is grass. You're gonna get it too thick, you get just in the right spot, and you look where the slick or the water, if it's windy, you see it breaking little ripples. That's where it is. They would catch on both sides of the boat. Everywhere we looked, there were people catching fish. And now some of them are fished under cork, some of them are just reeling it in slow, even a sparkle beetle. Just a steady retrieve and catching.
Delacroix's another place. Toby Cooper, look at what he caught. He sent us some beautiful trout pictures. He also picked up some redfish, and then he finished it off with a nice crab boil. That area is hot. And Lake Catherine hasn't quit. They get mixed catches there. The bass fishing actually increased this week, along with the speckled trout, and you can always find reds in there too.
Terry and Sam Badron sent a report, and Miss Angie sent a report. She said, I don't see no pictures. They were all coming in. I was so busy, so many people that are landing, that I didn't have time to take a bunch of pictures for you. But she said the fish are biting, and like you say, Terry and Sam Badron, them, they caught bass, trout, and redfish. They were using plastics under a cork. They were using a matrix shad, shrimp Creole. But like you say, people fishing live shrimp, and they're fishing trout, they're catching bass.
That's what the bass are eating.
3 to 5 pounds.
When there's shrimp in the water, bass are eating.
5 pounds in the marsh.
Right.
So, and I'm making me envious because right now, when everybody's bass fishing, catching fish, I'm hunting. And then people, when I start hunting, everybody gonna be, I don't feel like I'm a black cloud on this one though, but we did pretty good over there. The sulfur mine.
There's another.
Okay, in that area, I got a report from Tom LeBlanc and Cesar Garcia. The first report they sent was pretty good. They had a lot of trout, and they did like that, and they went around and caught some redfish. This last time they went in there, they caught their trout in the sulfur mine, had to go back. So they went around and didn't catch the fish they thought they were going to catch. So he's saying if anybody's going to sulfur mine, stick in the sulfur mine. And they're using black and chartreuse. They're using nothing but plastic. Another people over there, the ladies were over there fishing with Craig DeGrease last week before we got there. Renee Glazer. She ain't been a big fisherman, but she's hooked right now. She had a 10-pound red she caught, and she was fishing with Captain Craig. Delacroix, Reggio, these are areas that you know. Paul Patty sent me a report. His uncle was from India, and he also brought his 90-year-old father-in-law. Specks, drum, reds, everything you can imagine they caught and fished 2 days. Great report. Something real unique. Friend of mine, his son, his name is Martin Mouton. He's working right now in South Carolina, and he was on the beach. He was throwing a cast net the other day. I thought Louisiana was on one shrimp. He was casting for bait, but you'll see in this picture, them shrimp are that big. He's from Louisiana. He think he gonna fool, he gonna use them just for bait, huh? That boy from Louisiana, you don't have all kinds of shrimp.
He knows what to do with shrimp for sure.
So that's what all I got.
A couple of things I wanted to mention. Kirk Stansel said that the birds are working over there in Calcasieu area, and there's trout underneath them. Now, he did give one really good tip. He said use a lighter jig head, like a 3/16, because it won't sink as fast. Because if you sink too fast, you're going to move down below the fish because they're up there underneath those birds driving the bait up. He also said the Little John is a good one to use. A watermelon color is one of the favorites over there. We talked about the Wrigley's, Lake Catherine area where Mike Gallo fishes. That has been phenomenal over there. And Ryan Lambert said he's doing really good on both trout and redfish down near the Buras area, both sides, east and west. But now with that front coming through, I'm going to think that probably the west side is going to be your choice if you're fishing in early in the weekend. Just have to see what the weather does.
Right. And going back to Big Lake and everything, you said last week that the flounder run was on. Let me tell you another way. A lot of you can fishing with then a light jig head. You put the Gulf shrimp on or the Gulf twister tail, whatever one you want. But they work good. But what we find out, if you want to fish the little crab, or did it. Another good way to do it for the flounder is Carolina rig. There's a lot of junk on that thing, and for some reason, if you bear it, it'll hang in there, and the flounder will keep on hitting it. But I got to go back to Leeville because everybody fishes Leeville right now, and every time I go somewhere, I didn't get no pictures, but they telling me right now. They said off the Highway 1, they catching fish, and back in Leeville, all the little canals, they got a Wrigley's there. Round Lake, you know, Lake Infirma, all the lakes of them just in the northeast corner coming out of Caminada. They're catching fish all in there. I know Dow told you where they were catching some fish too. They're
good at nighttime in Grand Isle under the lights off the piers. They're catching fish there.
I forgot to even mention that, but that's what I got now. We're going to go freshwater. The hottest thing I got right now is Lake des Almas. I've been getting bass reports from there, but Sac-a-lait.
Throw in catfish at Lake des Almas too. I got good reports that catfish are biting over there.
Catfish biting everywhere again right now. After all that rain, you go to Lake Verret, everything using night crawlers, they're using shrimp, whatever one they want to use. But in big catfish, they're using cut bait, they're using them float, they're jug fishing or whatever they call them floaters. They're catching them, they're catching catfish all over. But Lake des Almas right now, Kenny and Bonnie and Michelle, blue tube jigs, and blue and sparkle tube jig, beautiful string of bugles, bunch of slabs laying on the table right there. And thanks to them, caught on a tube jig in Lake des Almas. Toledo Bend, they're not catching as many sac-a-lait, but all of them running from 1 to 2 pounds. All the captains I've talked to over there, and the bass right now are being caught. I think they just caught the 12th lunker already this year, over 10 pounds. But the big fish, they fishing 20 and 25 foot of water. They either fishing jigging spoons, Carolina rig, or drop shot. And they fishing in them deep holes right now, even up to 40 foot. So that's what I got right there. And then again about the bass, it's the same thing. And Lake Catherine, all the Irish Bayou, if you want to just fish bass, and you're catching a few redfish and specks too, but the bass are turned on over there.
All right. Continue to send your pictures in of your catches, and also we'd love to get your duck photos in too. Tell us who, where, why, what, and when, and send it in to us at Gary@Paradise, Louisiana, and you could be the next star. Gary, show them how to turn that cell phone when they're using it as a camera.
I ain't got
Well, just show them. You know,
turn them sideways,
horizontal.
just like this, hold it still.
You make Gary happy. Make me happy too.
Right, make me happy, make Chris happy.
Especially Chris. We'll see you next week with another edition of Paradise, Louisiana.
Paradise, Louisiana is presented by Rotolo's Pizzeria. Fresh ingredients, friendly service. That's just the way we Rotolo. Demco, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative. Pods, moving and storage solved. Baton Rouge Coca-Cola Bottling Company. Benny's Car Wash and Oil Change. Louisiana Fish Fry Products. And by CCA Louisiana and the CCA Louisiana Star Tournament.